call the meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Costa?
Present.
Trustee Caprio?
Present.
Trustee Rogers? Present. Trustee Suisse?
Present.
Trustee Matsky-Trinity?
Present.
Trustee Berrien?
Present.
Mayor Gibb?
Present. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay. Then we will go on to approval of minutes for April 27th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of April 27th, 2016 Village Board meeting? So moved. Trustee Costa?
A second.
Trustee Caprio. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We also have the minutes for May 2nd, 2016 Special Village Board meeting. Is there a motion? So moved. Trustee Costa?
I'll second.
Trustee Suisse. Is there any discussion? Okay, motion carries. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now motion carries. Schedule of accounts payable. Is there a motion to approve the accounts payable for the period of April 29th, 2016 through May 25th, 2016?
I so moved.
Trustee Suisse.
I second.
Trustee Rogers. Is there any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Berrien?
Aye.
Trustee Matsky-Trinity?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next is reports and communications from the mayor and other officers. I'll start off. As you know, Illinois American Water filed an application with the ICC to adjust the water and sewer rates effective January of 2017. A flyer from Illinois American Water was sent to the residents explaining the proposed rates increase. A letter has been drafted and will be sent out this week to all the mayors, managers, supervisors of 62 villages and townships, requesting that they join the village of Homer Glen in our efforts to voice our residents' concerns and disapproval to Illinois American Water and the ICC. We will keep you informed on this issue through periodic updates on the village's website and my mayor's blog. So just so everybody does know, if you don't, they are planning to raise the water and the sewer rates for basically the entire state to rebuild their infrastructure. And they are a privately owned company, so we're fighting it because why are we paying their bills? Because we're going to have to pay to fix them and replace them, then we're going to have to pay to use them. Not the right thing to do. So, second, the Mad Walk. The annual Tri-County Walk Like Mad event will be held on Sunday, June 5th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Homer Healing Garden, which is located right behind Village Hall. This event helps to raise awareness and funds to eliminate drunk driving. I encourage you to take part in this worthwhile event as a walker or volunteer. Together we can help raise awareness about the hazards of underage drinking and drunk driving. Information about this event is also posted on the calendar found on the village's website. Next is the troop contracting continues with the Village Hall renovation. The work at the new Village Hall. Troop submits progress to the reports that are in detail of the work completed each day. To view these reports, visit the village's website and click on construction updates, then click on Village Hall construction updates. Right now where the rad is, it is completely drywalled, it's taped, they started painting. They've already painted all the timbers in the hallway. They've got the village boardroom and community center set up. They're going to start staining all the wood inside there. They have to fix a couple panels because unfortunately when they started going through the building, they found that in the community center, they had a few leaks in the ceilings. So they've taken down all the damaged parts, and they are now in the process of replacing the panels that need to be replaced and fixing all the drywall that got ruined. It is going to add 16 days to the process of the build-up, but it still won't affect the village hall itself. It's only going to affect the boardroom and the community center. But that still should be done by the 1st of July. Also, they ran into problems where they had leaking from the back patio under the doors going into the old banquet room, which will now be the building department, so we have to fix that. We have to put a channel in so the water runs away from the building rather than being dumped into the building. They also had to replace a bunch of shingles that were damaged or missing. So unfortunately, these are all expenses that nobody saw until they started tearing the building over. And if anyone has ever done any kind of a reconstruction or rebuild, you know you're going to find some stuff. So it will cost us a little bit more money for the repairs, but it has nothing to do with renovation itself. So other than that, we'll go to the trustees, and we will start with Trustee Caprio.
Reporting for the Parade and Festival Committee, thank you, Mayor. The festival will run from Thursday, June 23rd, 2016 through Sunday, June 26th, 2016. Some of the highlights, Thursday night, a new kids zone starting at 6:30 p.m., which will consist of inflatable bouncy units. Mr. D's Magic Show, which kicks off at 7:30, and the fireworks will be ready to blast off by 9:30 p.m. with the Magic Skies, weather permitting. Friday night would be the rain date if need be for the fireworks. A pre-carnival party for Homer residents with special needs and their families will run from 2:30 to 4:30 on Friday, June 24th in our newly expanded, we have a newly expanded vendor and family tent. There will be a wide variety of vendors selling art, jewelry, essential oils, and etc. other items. Don't forget about the parade on Saturday morning, June 25th, starting at 11 o'clock. There will be many new attractions on the parade route, and it starts at 151st heading north on Parker Road. Live music every day featuring 10 bands between Thursday and Sunday, and we are always looking for volunteers for both the parade and fest grounds. Please contact Lindsay Sawa at the Homer Township office, 708-301-0522 for more details. And remember that your children can earn many of their community service hours throughout this wonderful event and that weekend. You can also check it out on the website at www.homerfest.com and click at the link, the info link, at the top of the detailed information. Also to check out the Homer Township site at www.homertownship.com for more details on the parade and volunteering for both events. And that is all I have to report.
Thank you, Trustee Caprio. Trustee Suisse.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting for the Environment Committee, the ceremony at the library for planting the Green Mountain Sugar Maple took place on Monday. The mayor, library board members, the chamber, and several members of the Environment Committee attended. The weather fully cooperated for the 9th annual Earth Day Arbor Day event, which took place on May 21 at Kono's Farm. The event, the event was well attended and everyone seemed to be having a great time. There was a variety of animal shows, displays, and vendors. The Environment Committee would like to thank our Emergency Management Agency, the Sheriff's Auxiliary, the volunteers, and staff for their assistance and support. You are greatly appreciated. We would also like to thank our sponsors, Meyer, Home Depot, Brent Marr Landscaping, Apple Chevrolet, Dan Kinning Homes, New Way, Homewood Disposal, and Willowbrook Ford for their support of our Earth Day and Arbor Day event. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Suisse. Trustee Rogers.
Thank you, Mayor. I have given you all a picture of a signage that, with your permission, I would like to direct Joe to work with Mr. DeVivo to have these signs priced out and hopefully installed along the trails where the trails are coming out unexpectedly for the people that are new to the trail system. For example, the one that I've seen quite a few times is on 159th Street by the Creamery, where it comes out at, to look at pricing and installing these. Joe, you said approximately 15 would be needed?
Currently, throughout the village is about 15 crossings at street locations.
We need 30.
Pardon?
We need 30
for each
side of the street.
Mm-hmm. And we might have some, so I'm not sure if we need to purchase all of them, but,
But we do need them for the safety of the residents. Are you all set?
yes, if you're good with
Trustee
that.
Rogers? I am good with it. Trustee Costa?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to add a few things from Trustee Caprio's report, and that is on a special needs day on Friday, please contact the Township Administration Office for an application. We're trying to get a count on the children and families who will be there for special needs to make sure we have adequate volunteers to assist in any way that they can. Also on the parade, any business, groups of people, blocks or organizations that want to participate in the parade, also contact the administration building, township, and get an application so we can get you included into the lineup. And also to add a little bit to Trustee Rogers' report, we do have our trails going through some subdivisions. I know in Meadowview there's one that crosses a couple of roads, and both drivers and pedestrians are not going to be used to this for a while, so we can't urge you enough. Please slow down in subdivisions, especially now that the trails are going through. There'll be a lot of residents and kids that are going to be using them, and they may not be used to crossing the street and thinking cars are going to stop, and the cars may think that they're going to stop. So please be careful. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Costa. Trustee Nice-Petracchi?
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Trustee Bergen?
Just two quick reminders for residents. One, as we get to the end of the month, take a look at the back of your car's license plates. The Secretary of State's office doesn't send out the reminders anymore. It's $101 for the sticker, but it's a $20 late fee. And I know several people that's happened to because they're not sending out the reminders anymore. So just take a look at the back of your plate. You can renew in person at the SOS offices. There's one in Orland. Online on their website, the registration ID and PIN is on your current registration card or at currency exchanges. So just a quick reminder on that. And also one other quick reminder with Memorial Day coming this weekend. We have available free 3x5 American flags for veterans in town. Just stop by the Village Hall and pick up your free flag. No proof of service needed. We trust you, but they're available during the day at the Village Hall, and they've been donated, so there's no expense to taxpayers. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Bergen. Does the treasurer have a report?
Yes, Mayor, I have the Treasurer's Report of Cash and Investments at April 30, 2016. It's the final monthly report for fiscal 16. It shows the general fund with cash and investments of $4,443,040.70. The special event fund had a cash and investment balance of $62,110.61. The environmental fund had a balance of $55,310.06. The motor fuel tax fund had a balance of $2,623,965.02. The Park and Recreation Fund had a cash and investment balance of $2,584,868.51. This balance includes the first months of motor fuel tax that was received in April. That amount represented $56,494.93, which was generated from the receipt of fuel in the amount of $1,902,186 gallons were received into the 8 filling stations in the month of April, generating that revenue, $56,000. The debt service fund had a balance of $1,364,446.77. Capital Project Fund had a cash and investment balance of $2,740,305.86. The EAB Tree Replacement Fund had a balance of $483,275.92. And the final fund, the CIP Bond Fund, had a balance of $15,094,042.36 for a grand total of $29,451,365.80. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, John. Madam Clerk?
Effective July 1st, Illinois requires all servers, bartenders, and employees of bars and restaurants checking IDs to be Bassett certified, which is basically seller awareness to look for intoxication along those lines. So the village is hosting a Bassett training event on June 13th at 6 p.m. and they can visit our website and register. That's pretty much it. Oh, we're incorporating that into our official ordinance as well.
One more question. And is there a expiration on Bassett training? Do you have to take it periodically, or?
Yeah, it's every 4 years, I believe. So our Bassett training that we're offering can be used anywhere. Naperville has a jurisdiction that if you work in Naperville, you have to take it in Naperville, but you can use it anywhere. We're not going to be that restrictive, but
Thank you.
But they have to be licensed.
yes,
Mayor, one more.
certified.
To Brian, Trustee Burrian's report, Jewel also sells license plate stickers. I know because I got caught with mine expired.
Well, it's good that everybody knows that. Village Attorney.
I have no report.
Public safety officials? Mike, did you want to come up now, or you're coming up later inside this?
I can come up now, whatever the board, so.
You can schedule for a workshop, but it's up to you.
All right, we'll just get through this real quick then. All right, Heather, do you have anything?
I do, actually. As many of the residents know who are receiving their electricity supply from Home Field Energy, we belong, along with many other communities, to an electric aggregation program. The Village of Homer Glen has belonged since 2012. We were notified that during May, the Illinois Commerce Commission approved the rates ComEd filed for summer and non-summer pricing. And the summer price to compare is less than what we currently offer through Home Field Energy in our contract with them. So the summer price to compare for ComEd is 6.195 cents per kilowatt hour, and our contract is 6.99 cents per kilowatt hour. And for the non-summer pricing, ComEd is offering 6.315 cents per kilowatt hour, and our contract for the duration of it would be 6.85 cents per kilowatt hour. We just wanted to provide this information to anyone who is currently receiving their electricity supply from Home Field Energy, to give them the option to either stay with Home Field Energy or to choose a different electricity supply provider. If you would like to opt out of the current electric aggregation agreement that we have with Home Field Energy, there is no termination fee. All you have to do is contact Home Field Energy, provide them with your account number, and it literally takes 5 minutes. I know because I did mine yesterday, and it takes 1 and 2 billing cycles, and then your price will be reflecting the adjustment of whichever electricity supplier you choose. A letter will be going out to each and every resident who has Home Field Energy through our electric aggregation program. We want to just notify everyone and give them the option to choose the electricity supplier that they want to have for the summer and non-summer months. I'd also like to report that the Village Hall will be closed in observation of Memorial Day. We will reopen on Tuesday. And I would also like to congratulate Sean Keene. He was accepted into UIC's master's program for public administration, and he begins this fall. So congratulations, Sean.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll be going into public comment. If you could keep your comments to 3 minutes, we would appreciate it. Joe, could you see if there's anyone signed up? Thank you, sir. First speaker will be Patrick Pratt.
I was signing in just to make comment if it came up on it.
Okay.
I got mad.
Second would be John Coy.
everybody hasn't heard this, but do we have any updates on with the speed bumps going in to the subdivisions? Have they been purchased? Are they in our possession? Or
Getting pricing right now on those speed bumps.
you're just getting prices?
We're in the process of doing that, and the delivery dates as well.
All right. John, I was going to ask you a question, but is there any way I could get you were talking about the gasoline tax?
Yes.
How many gallons that these gas stations have pumped for each month for the last?
It's fuel received. It's imposed on the receipt of fuel into the station, which is also what is sold too.
Can you FOIA that? In other words, I would like
I don't know.
to talk about how many gallons we sold one month and then how many we sell the next month.
You
And
just
then
come
with
by.
the price increase, are we selling the same amount or are we losing customers?
We're going to track that. It's just data that over time will have some value. You know, fuel received versus the average price per month. We're gonna capture that too.
Right,
But
because-
we've already gotten the second month, and it is almost identical to the first month.
Because we were
There was
talking
one less
about
day
that,
in.
and we says, now, are we losing customers, or are we staying the same, or are we're not gonna gain any by raising them?
Well, we stayed the same the first 2 months.
Because like I say, you know, now we'd like to get maybe a copy of something that says, you know, how much we're doing, or how much we're making, or how much we're losing. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you. But I can talk to you there, or somebody at the village hall. in
Sure,
about it.
stop by Friday,
All right,
and I'll talk to you about it.
all right, thank you.
Last will be Lynn McGarry.
Lynn McGarry here for the Homertown Chamber of Commerce. Just reminding you again, our golf outings on June 9th. We'd love you to come out and play. Tee off isn't till 2 o'clock, so you can work half a day. And if you don't golf, please come for dinner. We hope we see you there. Thanks, and thank you for your support.
Okay. Next will be legislation and action items. There are two motions for the board's consideration tonight. A, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-017, an ordinance approving a preliminary and final plat of survey, two-lot split for Skix subdivision of certain real property, hereafter legally described and located at 14509 Hillcrest Road, Homer Glen, Illinois 60491. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Costa, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Caprio, is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Trustee Nevsky-Trojans?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Second, B, consider for approval ordinance number 16-018, an ordinance granting a map amendment, amending the zoning classification of certain real property, hereafter legally described and located at 14509 Hillcrest Road, Homer Glen, Illinois, for the east 1.0 acre from the R1 Single Family Residential District to the R-3 Single Family Residential District.
So moved.
Trustee Costa,
I'll second.
Trustee Caprio, is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Nevsky-Trojans?
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet? Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-019, an ordinance approving an amendment to the special use permit to grant a major change to a plan development to amend the conditions of ordinance number 06082, which granted a special use permit for a plan development to permit the development of a place of worship, former Eagle Rock Community Church, and approving an amended and restated final development plan for a certain real property located at 14367 West 159th Street in Homer Glen, Illinois, Parkview Christian Church, applicant case number HG158-S.
So moved.
Trustee Costa, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Varian, is there any discussion?
Yes, I have questions. Is someone from the engineering here? Oh, okay. On the luminaire schedule, accent lighting is way above the lumens that is permitted for that type of lighting. You're at 4,300 and our max is at 1,100. Now, I know according to the cut sheets that that elation, that 6 bar lamp has dimmable settings. Now, is it able to get down to our maximum level?
Yes, essentially the 4,400 is the maximum lumens that we had used for the calculation to show that we would be under the luminosity per acre. However, in normal operating conditions for that light itself, it does operate under 1,100 lumens, which is the village standard on that.
Oh, okay.
That was provided in the cut sheets that were supplemental to the table that was included on there, and it was addressed as one of the engineering comments that the village consultant had commented on that, and they had spoken directly to the manufacturer and did receive that information also from them. So normal operating conditions would definitely be under the 1,100 lumens. And I spoke to Mr. Schwartz earlier today about that, and as far as the color changing goes, he did clarify that the color changing is not an option that would be allowed, so the colors would be selected. And then with the chip sets, they do have the values listed in the specification sheet.
Okay, and then I have just one other question. Since this is not like a 24-hour business, what is the plan? Do you have dimmers or timers on the parking lot lights? Because most of the time, no one's going to be there.
Right, I'll let the timers. We have those timers. We have timers set.
There's timers, so
There's
it's
timers.
not. It's
Yes.
only going to be on when there's activity at the church,
Yes.
and then it'll be dark other
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Hetzke-Trojki?
Aye.
Trustee Varian?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 3, Aqua Pool variances. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 16-012, an ordinance granting approval of 1, a variance to increase the allowable sign face area from 65 square feet to 120 square feet for an existing freestanding sign, section 220-105 F3B2 of the Homer Glen Code. 2, a variance to waive the requirement that the predominant construction material for an existing freestanding commercial sign shall be masonry or stone in order to allow a dual pylon type of freestanding sign. Section 220-1005 F3B2 of the Homer Glen Code. 3, a variance to reduce the required sign setback from 15 feet to 5 feet, section 220-105 F3D of the Homer Glen Code. And 4, a variance to increase the allowable sign height from 10 feet to 20 feet 6 inches for an existing freestanding sign, section 220-105 F3D of the Homer Glen Code. For certain real property located at 13445 West 159th Street, Homer Glen, Illinois, Aqua Pools, and case number HG1602-V.
So move.
Trustee Costa,
I'll second.
Trustee Hetzke. Is there any discussion?
Well, my only comment would be, I agree with variance 3 about the setback. I mean, if he doesn't have the feet, but that's, I'm agreeable with that, variance only.
Is someone here from Aqua Pools?
No, I had talked to him earlier, and I didn't know that Mr. Schwartz had asked him to come. I dealt with him, he didn't have to come on it, because what we were going to be doing is talking about what he is going to do and why we're doing what we're doing. So everyone knows 159th Street is being widened. Everyone has to move their signs that is on their property. This is a situation where they don't have a choice. The state made it for them, they have to move it. So the way the ordinance reads is if the owner decides to move the sign, then they have to come within the ordinance of size, height, and the way it was explained to us and the way I felt about it, and I talked to the board about it, is that this is not their choice to move a sign, so I can't see why we're making them get rid of that sign and put a brand new sign up. It's a cost that they shouldn't incur. They didn't want to move it. It was being forced by the state. So what we're doing is if they put the exact same sign that they had back up, we're giving them permission to leave the sign the way it is. If they decide they want to change the sign, then the sign would have to fall into the ordinance the way it reads and be compliant. The sign he has up there right now is the same sign he wants to put back up, so there really is no change. It always was 20 feet, not 10. It always was 120 square feet of signage, not 60. So he's taking the sign that was there, he's getting it sandblasted, he's getting it painted, he's putting it back up, he's surrounding it with stone, he's putting vegetation in, and if we want, he said he would brick it all the way up if that's what the village wants. So that's where we're at.
You know, Mayor, my preference, I mean, I agree with Trustee Suisse on number 3 for sure. My only hesitations were, I don't have a problem with the size of the sign. I don't have a problem with the square footage, the height and the square footage. My biggest problem is that's the corridor of 159th Street, and it's not an attractive sign. I'm going to go on record saying that. But if he's willing to do, I did not see Exhibit E, as long as we can get some verification as to what Exhibit E really consists of, rather than a penciled-in drawing of what type of stone is going to be this planter box, what type of plants they're going to be putting in. I would prefer to see those pillars or those pylons, I don't know what we call them. You know, if they could be bricked up, that would look much better.
You would be more than happy to.
I'm not a fan of the sign, but I'd be willing to give it some consideration if those conditions are met.
Well, we can change the motion to fit whatever you want, so this way it is done, but he is putting the landscaping around it. He is going to build a 3-foot wall, and he said pretty much whatever you guys decide on spoilage or for the bricks, you tell him what you want and he'll do it.
And there's no lighting involved, correct?
No.
Mayor, if I could?
Sure.
I had the same concern the other trustees had. You know, moving the sign and the setback to us really is no issue. We knew this is coming. IDOT is forcing them to moving it. It actually took me about 3 or 4 times reading through all these documents until I saw that that the owner was going to brick the bottom up, because there's so much to read, and I did see he's going to do that. I like Trustee Caprio's idea of seeing if he can brick the post up to make it look a little bit more attractive. You know, if he would do that, I would support this also. Again, as the mayor mentioned, this is something that's forced on our businesses, and it did take quite a while for me to just come to terms on this, reading this one, saying that, you know, we're trying to bring things into perspective in the village of what's right and wrong, and if the IDOT was not going to, didn't force them into moving that sign, they wouldn't be in front of us today. But what I'd like to do, Mayor, if you would consider to direct staff, since we know this is going to keep coming up. We have not only 159th with IDOT, we also have county that's talking about widening Bell Road and 143rd. There's a number of signs up and down those streets. This isn't the last time the board is going to see looking for a number of variances on signs. I'd like to see an amendment, if you can direct staff to write up something that the board can look at, consider possibly to change or manipulate, so that not only the residents and the businesses know what's expected if this happens or what the requirements are, but also so our plan commissioner and staff knows, and the board. We know it's going to happen. Why don't we be proactive And again, it could be, you have the state, the county, and possibly our own highway department might be doing work on roads that this might fall into. And if a business is going to take his sign, and he's forced to move it, he's going to take it down and move it, and during that process, repaint it, clean it up, and fix it, but put up the exact same sign. If the road construction didn't force him into doing that, the sign would be staying there as it is today. So I'd like to see something come back in front of this board in the very near future for us to look at and possibly amend this ordinance.
That sounds good.
I think Trustee Costa may have been reading off my notes because he covered everything that I was going to say. So I think it's in some ways a blessing that a sign that we want to be business friendly, and that's a two-way street. And I would say that this sign as it currently exists is not necessarily Homer Glen friendly because it's dilapidated and in need of some maintenance. So I think it's an opportunity to do that, but I concur that this is a business owner that is being forced to move something, not by choice, in which, I think the ordinance would certainly apply. And I would second Trustee Costa's, if it was a motion, but either way, I would just second his sentiment that we look at making a change going forward because this isn't the last time.
Okay. With what Trustee Costa made the motion, and Trustee Troiki did the second, we should have it amended to where what you're looking for with the brick, with the foliage, and there too. We can tell him what we want and he will do it. So whatever brick you want. So Mike, you would have to change your motion to have the base. You want brick all the way up around both the poles and do that?
Yeah, and again, Trustee Caprio's idea, I like that. So I would amend my motion to say that the planter would be brick, and to brick up to the bottom of the actual sign itself, which would cover the posts that are holding it up.
Well, you want brick, solid brick all the way up to the sign, or you want it just around the two
I
poles?
thought that's what Trustee Caprio had mentioned, if you can brick the posts, or were you just talking about a planter at the bottom? Because I was just going.
No, he'll do the
planter's
post.
there.
Okay, but the way you worded it, it sounded like you wanted brick from the ground up to the bottom of the sign.
Well, no, I'm sorry, the planter, but is there a way of, is there a way of him putting some
Yes.
brick around the post? Not brick all the way up, Mayor, I'm sorry.
He could do that, he could do that
Okay.
around the poles. He already looked into it, he has someone that can get that done for him.
If that's feasible.
And
I don't wanna
press
make-
everything up, so it doesn't look, but he's also gonna strip it and he's gonna paint it too.
Well,
So
and that's
whatever
key.
he's
I
gonna
mean,
do.
I would want to have a good looking street.
So we have the motion.
Mayor, one other comment. Why does he need 20 feet? Why can't he, because it's all metal on the bottom, why can't he cut off 5 feet? Bring that sign down. He doesn't need it sticking straight up like that so high.
Well, I can talk to him about it, but from my understanding, the way it was shown to me, if he cuts down 5 feet and then he has to bring it back because of the width of the road, that anyone that was going east would not be able to see the sign until they were on top of the sign. Anyone
Can't
from-
see that.
No, it falls behind the building.
No,
It would be very tall in the face of it. So if anyone coming east, yes, they can see it. So I will talk to him about it. If you want to make that one of your demands in the motion, I can run it past him.
Well, I think it would just, if he brought it down a little bit, and if you have a planter box there, I think it would look a little bit better.
Well, if you had a taller planter box, it would make the sign look shorter, to be quite honest with you. If you did a 4.5 foot instead of 3 foot, I'm just guessing. I'm not a landscape architect by any stretch of the imagination. But I understand the height requirement because of the roof line going eastbound.
So
I think the brick has to come higher, because if you're only going with 3,
It's going to make it.
it's going to be covered in snow.
well,
When they
that's
go
fine.
show,
Then
so
make it 4, make it 4.5, make it
Yeah.
5.
I would say, 5 would be better. But going back to what Mike was saying, what Trustee Costa was saying, as far as moving forward and changing these things, I 100% agree when, parties come in and are taking your land, and we all know there is some compensation there. So, there is some room for him to spend money to improve this sign. So I would definitely want to see that language in the revised ordinance moving forward, that these signs that are moved have to be improved, because there are some, really old signs out there. They don't need to be destroyed, but they definitely need to be maintained.
Oh, and I agree with you. I don't fight that. It's, what bothers me is you're taking a business that has had it here since before we were a village, and it was not his choice to move it. It was the state saying he had to move it back. And he will dress it up any way you want to dress it up, and if you want, I still can ask him to see if he can shorten it up a little bit, or raise up the, because most planters are only 3.5 feet from everyone else that's changed them,
But they're in relation to the sign. So this motion could be 2 pages long. So I would really think that we would just come up with requirements.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What do you want? We'll put it in there, and that's what he's gonna have to do.
Yeah. I think we should give him an opportunity, maybe we give him a wish list of things that we can do, or we'd like him to do, and if they're feasible, we come to an agreement, and then we make the motion. Do we need to do this today?
Subject to a no, sure.
I'm not trying to stop it, but I'm trying to make it feasible for everybody.
That's fine.
It's just me speaking, so.
So, all right.
We can make a 2-page motion, but I don't think it's necessary.
Well, the motion, the way it stands right now, is that he could use the sign as is. He has to put it in a 4-foot or 5-foot base. What are you looking for?
That's actually not what I have, but if we want to do that.
Well, that's what,
change- yeah.
it got changed. That's why I'm asking.
Nobody actually motioned.
Right, so we're trying to get the motion, but it went from 3 feet to 4 feet, so I want to make sure that the motion
4 or 5?
is,
But you just approve the motion subject to a satisfactory landscaping approval, subject to the terms that staff could approve, or something, something general that,
Right, that's
could
not the
apply.
done deal. It
So
has to be-
approve it, but
yeah.
subject,
That's what I'm trying-
with subject to number 3 here that we're talking about,
Okay.
subject to staff, if you want to delegate, they've been listening, maybe you could do something.
Just so I'm clear, you have an Exhibit E in your packet, and the only thing we're talking about changing is Exhibit E. And Exhibit E has 2 drawings he provided, one at a larger scale than the other. So you're talking about amending Exhibit E, or having him amend Exhibit E to basically raise the height of this planter box, which kind of goes around the 2 existing poles, from 3 feet to 4 feet.
Some footage that makes it look normal.
More in scale.
More in scale.
Are you deferring to staff, or do you want to see this come back to
I'm
you?
deferring to staff.
Just defer to staff.
Yeah.
Because we could certainly bring it back with it, so you see it before you approve
I
it.
think we should.
that's fine.
It's up to you.
I'd like to see better than a penciled-in drawing at some point, but yeah.
Well, this was the drawing that
Right.
it was not done by an
No,
architect, so.
I can't draw, so.
Just bring it back at another.
Yeah, we can bring it back to the next meeting.
So the
If
direction-
it gives staff enough time to be able to drop something.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
could I say something?
No.
Mayor?
It seems to me that we all seem in agreement on the planter box, whether it's 3 foot or 4 foot, right? We all seem to be in agreement on bricking up to the sign, the posts. He's going to sandblast and paint the remainder of the posts around the sign.
Well, he's going to do it completely before they even start breaking up everything, so this way it
Okay.
just holds up better for him.
And so there seems to be consensus on all of that.
Correct.
So the only thing there may not be consensus on, if I'm hearing this right, is asking him to lower it.
Which I can do,
Right.
that's not a problem.
And I guess, just in the interest of being somewhat expeditious with this, if, it seems to me there's consensus to ask, right, but maybe not require lowering of the sign. I may be wrong, I'm not speaking for anyone. But if that's the only issue outstanding, then we can approve a motion with the things that we just talked about, right? With the planter and the brick up to the sign, and then with the request to lower it. But unless as a board here, we're saying we want to make that a condition of approval of this, is he has to lower it, I don't think I'm hearing that, but that seems to me the only thing outstanding.
I'm perfectly fine with him doing a taller planter, which I think the perception from you driving by will make it appear lower. Just my thought, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So I have no issue with the height at its current state.
Do we need to weigh in as a board, whether it's 3 foot or 4 foot again? I guess is the question, right?
Well, it's 3 feet now.
It's not.
So we're
Yeah.
saying just
We need
asking him
more.
to go higher, whether it's 4 or 5.
Well, you also have to wonder how he's gonna water it, unless he puts water, he brings water to the thing for it to automatically spray it, because if you make it 5 or whatever, someone still has to reach up there to put it in and weed it.
And it'll help it to get less vandalized maybe on 159th Street there, because it'll be a little higher.
You don't have vandalism.
I'm just, my thought is I'm thinking plowing, once the plow season comes, something that low,
Yeah.
where it's at, he has such limited parking now,
It's
it's gonna get covered in snow. And if he's fine with that, then, it's just something that he should consider.
I don't think he will have an issue with anything that you say, as long as he gets to hold on
No,
to
but
the
that's a
sign.
good point. It might create a hazard. You got brick covered now with snow.
Covered with a snowbank.
Well, I'm still sure he's gonna have cement stops around it for the
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
But, all right, so
And are we saying the brick is going all the way up to cover the poles?
it will
Up
cover the
to the
poles
side.
to the
To the
side.
side.
Oh.
The rest will be sandblasted and repainted.
I don't know how they would put it around the
Yeah.
sign.
No, you really couldn't do that.
No, we're not talking about brick the entire thing to the side.
No.
We're talking about just around the post.
The post.
Yeah, that's rusted and just around the
Updating
two
it,
posts.
updating it.
Yep, and it'll make it look a lot nicer. So,
So to amend the motion, if I could do this so we can move forward.
Yep.
Amend the motion that, to approve the variances based on these conditions, that the planter box be 4 feet high,
Sure.
and that he installs brick up to the bottom of the sign on the posts, not the planter box, but just cover the posts, and ask that he would consider lowering the sign to still make it viewable by passing motorists. That's my motion. But that would not be a condition of approval by lowering.
Second.
okay.
You can't
All right,
steal my
so
second.
now it's trustee Costa made the motion, and who's
I'll
making the
amend my
second?
second.
And Christine will amend her second.
I have one question. How many feet is it from the sign, from the planter box to the bottom of the sign?
We don't have that we don't have those, actually,
At that rate, you're probably looking about 10 feet.
So we want him to brick 10 feet all the way up?
No,
No, I don't think it's
I
10
would say
feet.
six.
I think it's probably more like 5 feet.
I would say 5 or 6. Times.
It's actually 9 foot 6.
yeah, the whole sign is 20 high, and there's 4, so that takes it to 16. There's probably maybe 8. I can't tell based on his rendering.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, with that, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
I,
Trustee Sweet?
um,
Sorry, what?
Sorry.
If it comes back to us before he starts running with the plans, so that we see
You
it.
gotta have a yes or a no. Is that a no?
I'll just put it aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Mansky-Tracey?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Sharon, I will go ahead and I'll talk to them about it to see what it is. Okay, is there a motion to approve the appointment of trustee Sharon Sweet as mayor pro tem? It is understood that the mayor pro tem appointment is for 1 year.
So moved.
Trustee Costa,
Second?
trustee Caprio, is there any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Mansky-Tracey?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
I,
Trustee Caprio?
Aye, did I even say aye?
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next is committee appointments. All appointments are for a period of 1 year. The Mayor's Administration and Finance Committee, appointment of myself, ex officio, trustees Carlo Caprio, Beth Rogers, and Sharon Sweet. And the Mayor's Community and Economic Development Committee appointments of Mayor Yukich, ex officio, trustee Brian Berrien, committee members Bob Schmidt, Dan Fleming, Jody Edelman, Jim Orban, Jerry Young, Keith Gray, Bob Kamen, and Dan Kenny. And the Mayor's Environmental Committee appointments of Chairperson Trustee Sharon Swees and committee members Margaret Sabo, Cynthia Rataj, Kathy Kudla, Bob Moses, Randy Juris, Gary White, Joe Therese, Nancy Carlson, Larry Witzel, and the Mayor's Homer Harvest Days Committee appointment of committee members Trustee Sharon Swees, Margaret Sabo, Randy Juris, Mike McGowan, Nancy Strret. The Mayor's Parade and Festival Committee appointments of committee members Trustee Mike Costa, Trustee Carlo Caprio, Clerk Ann Holtz, Chris Lacacius, and Mike McGowan. And the Mayor's Parks and Recreation Committee appointments of co-chairpersons Trustee Christy Knightsky-Troike and Trustee Sharon Swees, and committee members Dale Jansen, Cassandra Courtwright, Ed Cryer, Bob Kamen, Russell Knack, Marty Oster, Regina Robinson, Kyle Sanders, John Walters, and, yeah, I agree. The Mayor's Public Services and Safety Committee appointments of Chairperson Trustee Beth Rogers and committee members Chris Lacacius of Homer Township Road District Representative, of Homer Township Fire Protection District Representative, a Northwest Homer Fire Protection District Representatives, Will County Sheriff's Office Representative, and an EMA representative. It is further understood that the Public Service and Safety Committees will still meet on the first Wednesday of the month, but at a new time of 6:30 p.m. With that, is there a motion?
So moved. Go on, Brian, seriously.
All right, so Trustee Berrien.
I'll second it.
Trustee Costa. Is there any discussion?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. We'll do it a couple times.
Mayor, I would just real quick just say thank you to everybody on that list. These are all volunteer efforts, and I know there's several potential appointees, assuming this passes, in the audience tonight, and just so I want to just say thank you to everyone that volunteers on these committees. It's an important role for the village, and we're excited to have the amount of people we have and the quality of people we have.
And just to piggyback that, I agree with them. This way it gives everyone from the outside an opportunity to see what goes on behind the scenes. And we get input from residents. So that is huge to us.
To add to that a little bit, maybe Brian, could you speak to the new committee just a little bit, the one that you're chairing? I know we had it a long time ago and the previous administration dissolved it, but maybe just explain a little bit your goals and.
Yeah, sure. So the Community Economic Development Committee is a committee that I served on as a volunteer going back to 2006. I don't want to speak maybe to the goals yet, because I think that's done as a group when we first sit and meet. But I think my experience has been a committee that's meant to help improve the economic climate of the village, on top of the community in general development of the village. And I think we have a wide, I'll say, cast of characters, for lack of a better term, with diverse backgrounds that are going to be serving on this committee, and I look forward to serving. But it's really based on, I think it's in its title, community and economic development, and I think when we sit and meet for the first time, we will develop those goals and share them at that time.
Yeah, I know years ago I was on the committee here. I was also on, when I lived in Homewood, I was on the one in Homewood too. And the group that you have put together looks like a lot of business owners in town and stuff, and that's great because they're going to be able to pull together and come up with ideas to help generate business and excitement and getting people more energized to focus on keeping their dollars in Homer and coming up with creative ways.
And bringing more business into the village.
Okay, with that, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Cabrio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Berrien?
Aye.
Trustee Knightsky-Troike?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 6, Planning Commission appointments. Is there a motion to approve the appointment of Joe Maska to serve as chairman of the village's Plan Commission It is understood that Mr. Maska's appointment is for 1 year. Motion 2, is there a motion to appoint Don Mitchell to the Planning Commission? It is understood that Mr. Mitchell's appointment will run from now until May 31st, 2019. Motion 3, is there a motion to appoint Chris Locasius to the Planning Commission? It is understood that Mr. Locasius' appointment will run from now until May 31st, 2019. And is there a motion to appoint Rob Backel to the Planning Commission? It is understood that Mr. Backel's appointment will run from now until May 31st, 2019.
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Nitzke-Turkey?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Costa?
Aye. Motion carries. EMA appointments. Is there a motion to approve the Mayor's Emergency Management Agency appointments of Coordinator John Robinson and agency members Don Guinta, Emil Centers, David Krivakis, Bill Lionhood, Jim Riley, Steve Spear, Jim Kinstead, and Adrian Byrne? It is understood that all of the Emergency Management Agency appointments are a period of 1 year.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Motion, could you call roll, please?
Trustee Costa?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Sweet?
Aye.
Trustee Barry?
Aye.
Trustee Nitzke-Turkey?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're done with legislation and action items. We are now on workshop item. Presentation from Homer Road District Commissioner Mike DeVivo regarding posting the new weight limit signage within the village of Homer Glen. Mike, it's all yours.
I know it's boring. I guess at first sight, you could say this is much ado about nothing. Essentially, all we're doing is, wow. They're going to put something out.
Projector out.
Sure. Essentially, all we're going to do is change some signs. But it is somewhat drastic, as you can see, we're trying to make the signs much more visible. And the reason we're doing this is about 10, 15 years ago, they put up 355, and a couple of years ago, Lockport has put up quite a few warehousing in our area. There's probably 4 or 5 very large warehouses. I know one of them is 10 acres. So this has brought a lot of trucks into our area. You know, it's the amount of trucks we see in our area now is really substantial. Adding to that, Galva Road was closed for a while. You all know that, and that's where all these warehouses were along Galva Road. And when they opened it up again, and it was closed, a lot of the reason it was closed because Will County Department of Transportation was keeping the trucks from going, the traffic going through Galva Road all the way to 143rd. And at this particular time, they opened one of the warehouses, the 10-acre warehouses where LG went in there, and they were loading the warehouse. And I was forced with a situation that they were going to close down Galva Road again, or we had to allow some temporary traffic on the Mott Road. The opening of Galva Road did provide a lot of safety and convenience for our community, and it was a temporary issue, so I worked with the village staff and we allowed it to use Galva Road. Rather the Mott Road for some exiting truck traffic. That was only temporary and ended Monday once they put the temporary traffic lights, which were turned on Galva Road and 143rd Street. Since that time, I'm getting a lot, I don't know how much village staff is, a lot of this traffic is in the unincorporated area. I'm getting a lot of calls from semis, not just big trucks, but semis on going through our town. I've seen them on 151st Street. I followed one from 151st Street from Bell all the way to the project. I've been working with Lockport for a long time, assuring that these trucks would have an easy access in and out of these warehouses without using our roads as truck routes. And that's basically all I'm trying to do. I also went to the FedEx, to the
FedEx trucking outfit, which is serving this area, and went over this with the terminal manager there. That, you know, you have a way to get in and out of here, and these local roads that we have are not truck routes. Now, I provided you with some map. Well, there's a map right up here. A map, and I have some here if somebody would like some. You have a little. Thank you. I think you all have some of these maps, I believe?
Yes.
Okay, anything you see in red here, these are roads that from a previous ordinance from the township back in 1995 are restricted to trucks. There are 7 and some are even 5-ton limits. Everything in green here that you see on this map are pretty much state routes and county routes where the trucks are allowed. So, although there is some truck traffic that we're going to have on 159th Street, on Bell Road, on 143rd Street, roads like Parker, roads like 151st Street, roads like Lamont Road, there should be no trucks on there, and we're seeing a lot of them. So, in an effort to combat this, I come up with an idea to come up with a better sign. It's a sign that I've never seen before. I want to know that the trucks that come through here aren't allowed on our road. I want to make it easier for them to see. So we bought 32 of these signs, and rather than me just put them up, I thought I'd make this presentation to the board. I've talked with staff on this, and I've also talked to the police department, and this is something that's easy to implement. We already have the ordinances in place. Right now, the ordinance is just a traffic ticket. Is that what it is? It's not a over?
A vehicle overweight at 14,000 pounds. Anything over 500 pounds is $75 for every 500 pounds or over that 14,000 pounds. So we would actually need scales to enforce that, but you could also enforce it by violation of a traffic sign because most tractor trailers weigh between 16.5 and 20,000 pounds without the trailer attached. So they're already overweight just in their base model. So either way, loaded or unloaded, you can enforce that with one of two statutes. The ordinance is written under 5/15-316. That's the overweight where you have to actually weigh them out. It starts at a $50 fine and then it goes up whatever you're over. And if Homer Glen were to enact an ordinance, the money would actually go back to them for anything overweight. But you would need scales, and it's a special, I believe it's a week training class if somebody's going to do that. But you could write the regular citation for violation of a sign, which is a moving violation. The other one's not a moving violation, doesn't count against their CDL because there's no supervision on the CDL. So.
Well, my suggestion to the board would be that to have the board create your own ordinances. And once you have your own ordinances in place, then any of these tickets, you'll be getting those fines. You have a lot more control over this. Right now, my goal is just to keep the trucks off the roads. I mean, there's a lot of them. You know, our operations manager, Dale Hassett, lives on 151st Street in Gower there. And he said the other day when he was home, he saw on a weekday 30 to 40 trucks on the road. That's a lot of semis on the road. That's not, and not only are they on the road, that's a 25 or 30 mile road, you know, down where Gower dips. I've heard people say that they clock them at 30, 40, and 50 miles an hour going down there. So this is something that's only going to increase as these warehouses open. And again, I could have just put those signs up, but I thought it best to come in front of the board first and say, here, this is what we're going to do. There's a couple of areas where the signs will go up that are not within our boundaries. To give you an idea, Parker at 131st Street. If a truck turns down there and there's no sign there, when he gets to our section at about 135th and Parker, what's he going to do? He can't turn around. So I have to talk to Lamont and go in there and say, look, I want to put this sign up on your right of way, and what we'll do is put ahead. And they'll know that when they see that sign that they shouldn't turn down there. There's a couple of places on IDOT, Archer Avenue and Lamont Road. So I have to talk to the IDOT traffic department and see if they'll either put the signs up for me or allow us to put the signs up ourselves on Lamont Road. Because if a truck turns down Lamont Road, once he gets to my house, what's he going to do? There's nowhere to turn around. So we've had a few situations like that. Wasn't there a truck trying to turn around on on Cedar Road there, where he turned around and he tried to turn around in the subdivision and he tore down the
power line.
he tore down the power line.
Yeah.
Because he realized he was where he shouldn't be, and he went to turn around and he had the street blocked, the power was out. So you really don't want to stop these trucks halfway down the road. You want to get them before they get into the road. Okay. There's 2 roads in here that are blue. That's Cedar and Cream. Those roads are not restricted. And I would strongly suggest you do that. I can tell you those roads are built to handle trucks. And the reason they were is because the previous highway commissioner realized that all the traffic that was going to be moving on our roads for the construction of 355 was going to be going down those roads, and they did. There was a time when we had 800 trucks a day going down those roads. So although they're certainly capable of carrying the overweight trucks, the larger trucks, it's still predominantly a residential arterial road. It's not a truck route. So my whole goal here is to keep this, keep the trucks that will be coming in here as using our local arterial roads as their truck routes. That's the whole goal. And if anybody doesn't have a problem, we'll begin putting these up tomorrow.
Michael, do we need more if we changed over the Green Road and Cedar Road?
You'd have to pass an ordinance. More signs? I bought 30 of them. Let's see how they go. And to be honest with you, that's a standard sign size. I think if I get into I like 159th and Parker, I may want to put a bigger sign on there.
Is there a specific height they need to be at?
Yeah, well, there's the Mudcat, the manual on uniform traffic control devices. We have a book on every sign truck. And there's rules where they have to be, how far from the intersection. We can also be as diligent enough as to put these, when IDOT puts their turn sign, lights up on 159th Street, where there's a turn sign for Parker, we could put one of those up near the arrow, with an arrow pointing this way or that way, that there's a restriction in the turn. There's a lot of traffic calming that I like to think is education. And in this way, if we alert most drivers and they know they're not supposed to go there, they won't. That's my feeling.
Mike, at the last public safety committee meeting, you were there, that there was a family that was talking about the traffic on 130 in Lamont, how the trucks are going down there and then they realize they're at a dead end. Is that these signs here?
131st.
She was saying it was 131st and Lamont. And then we had Joe.
131st ends at Archer?
I thought it was
No, the other way I think she's thinking.
139.
139.
Yes, 139.
Yep, so that is it.
139th and Coke or 139th East from Or are they turning around
She
there?
was on Coke. She had Coke at us.
Right.
Yeah, that's all residential there.
Right, they go in there and then it's a dead end.
Right.
So this will help that.
Yes, oh yeah.
Because I know that's what we talked
We're
about.
going to be, again, we're going to be really aggressive with these signs. They're going to be, and if I need to order more, I will.
Excuse me, Mike, I have one question for you, just for clarification, that the Cream Road and Cedar Road are blue, so trucks will be allowed on there?
Well, right, I'm not saying they're allowed, I mean, I certainly wouldn't want them, but there's no ordinance against it right now. The ordinance I have, and I believe some of you may have a copy of it, I have some here, it's passed in 95, that road is not on there. So right now, the township back in 95 didn't pass an ordinance against it. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, my only concern is that, coming from the south on Cedar Road from 159th up to 151st, and now if you have a semi, they've got to make a turn to go east on 151st and make another turn.
Yeah,
to go
you're right. You're spot on, Mike. This is not going to work.
So hopefully when we look at this, we consider that. Now we might have semis trying to make turns on roads that aren't that wide.
Are any of you, Mike, it was 2 years ago, January 1st, when the speed limits were raised in Illinois to 70 miles an hour? Part of that bill that passed that also changed the weight limits in Illinois on trucks. There was some 73,650 all the county roads were weight limited, like 143rd, like Cedar beyond Bell. We're all limited to 73, 650, I believe. And when they passed that bill, they raised them all to all of the limits on the county road to 80,000 pounds. If you look at the intersection, we just redid the intersection on 151st and Parker. I know a lot of people say, why is those stop signs so far back? Well, because of that law, every intersection had to be able to take the radius of the semi turning there. And although we don't allow trucks there, it's still because it was state funded, it had to meet that specification. So yes, there's been some changes made, and you're right, there's no way a truck could make a turn there conveniently. So the intersection just can't handle it.
Thank you.
I think when we work on this ordinance, why can't we increase the fines? I mean, those fines are way too low. Is that a standard?
Well,
I mean, that's nothing to a trucking company.
And it's nothing to a trucking company. And I understand that, but a lot of these guys out there are independents. There's a lot of small trucking companies out there. Not everything is FedEx. Not everything is, Swift. I mean, there's a lot of small companies out there. But, my goal is not to create a revenue source. My goal is to keep the trucks off the road. That's what I really try to do here. But whatever you do, that's, of course, your decision.
Any other questions for
So I'm going to start putting these signs up tomorrow, and I didn't want to start until at least I talked to you. Anybody have any issues? Nope.
I think I like that yellow.
strictly enforced?
I've never seen one like that before, but I think that'll stand out.
I think so too. Yeah, no, that's, because we got to protect the customers, otherwise it's going to be a
Well, if we're going to be strictly enforcing, I thought in all fairness, at least you'd be able to tell, hey, if you miss that sign, you just ain't paying attention.
Yeah. All right. Well, like you said, when 159th Street's done, I think it's a great idea to put it, because they're always watching a light, so now it's right in front of them.
That would be up to IDOT. I think it's our traffic department, and I'll meet with them soon.
I have a question.
Sure.
You're talking about semis, right? I mean, I don't know the weight of.
Well, here's an example. A UPS truck is probably overweight. That standard UPS truck you see there is overweight. But he's in there delivering. There's a difference between, you even allow, I get calls from semis that I had an oven delivered to my house, and it was brought to my house on a semi. Okay, a bigger 80,000 pound vehicle. You have to allow them in to deliver. What we're concerned about is those using our roads as truck routes.
How do you decipher the difference?
Well, and I understand that if a driver is stopped by the police and so I got to deliver, here's my delivery address, it's the only way I can get there. They can tell with his paperwork where he's going.
I mean, what about farm machinery? I mean,
No, it doesn't apply to farm machinery.
So you're talking strictly semis?
Yes, it's structure.
All right. Thank you very much. And can we get this addressed as soon as possible, so this way we do cover our
Thank you,
bills, so
Mike.
they're not all chopped up? Thanks, Mike, I appreciate it.
Sure, I got that.
So we're going to be looking to change over Cream and Cedar, and then adjust the ordinance to stop the semis from using the streets, and so if we could get that thing set. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Or a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting adjourned.